Hi viewers, welcome to SEKHAR'S Biofactory for NEET Plant Kingdom with Pteridophyta Classification and Economic Importance. If you like this video, subscribe my channel and click on bell icon to get notifications. Like, follow and share my videos to your students and friends to get more information in biology related to NEET and other national state level competitive exams. In this video, I am going to explain the classification and economic importance of Pteridophyta. Pteridophytes are the plants that do not have any flower or seeds for reproduction. These pteridophytes are the first true land plants without seeds and called vascular cryptogams. The sporophytic plant body of pteridophytes having true roots, stem and leaves. Spores are developed inside the sporangium. It may be homosporous or heterosporous. The members of pteridophytes, it shows true alternation of generation in its life cycle. The pteridophytes, it includes ferns and hostiles. The Pteridophyta, it further classified into four classes. These are Coelopsida, example Psilotum, Lycopsida, example Selaginella Lycopodium, Spinopsida, example Equisetum, and Pteropsida, example Dryopteris, Pteris, and Adiantum. The first example for pteridophytes, Psilotum. Psilotum, which is closely resembles to plants like Rhynia. Psilotum is the only living vascular plant lack both leaves and roots, so that it is called living fossil. The plant body of Psilotum, it is well differentiated into two parts. In this, the first part is horizontal underground rhizome and the second part is an erect aerial shoot. The Psilotum, it lacks true roots but rhizome is present. This rhizome, it helps to creeping on soil. The underground stem, it is called rhizome, and aerial stem, it is photosynthetic in nature to perform photosynthesis. The plant includes the dichotomously branched sporophyte and it can produce sporangiums with homosporous and terminal eusporangia. The sporangia of Psilotum are trilocular syngania. It results in the form of fusion of three adjacent sporangia and these are borne lateral at on axis. The sporangia of Psilotum is called synangium. The Psilotum, it reproduces vegetatively as well as by spores. These spores can produce a gametophyte after its germination. These spores can form gametophyte and it is monoecious homothallic having Antheridium and archegania are a sex organs. These sex organs are superficial and scattered over the surface of gametophyte. The fertilization is accomplished by the union of multi-flagellated sperm and egg cell. This fusion, it results in the formation of a diploid zygote. This diploid zygote further it becomes into a mother cell of sporophytic plant body and it completes its life cycle. The second example, Selaginella. Selaginella is commonly called spike moss because they are distributed in humid, temperate and tropical rainforest. The Selaginella species are creeping or ascendant plants with simple scaly leaves called microphylls on branches of stem, and also roots are arranged from the lower surface of the stem. At the place of branching, the stem arises a long unbranched leafless structure towards the lower side. Now it is called rhizophore. The vegetative reproduction in Selaginella, takes place by tubers, bulbils, dormant buds and fragmentation. Numerous spores, haploid spores, are produced inside the sporangium. These sporangiums are located on sporophyll. Now all these sporophylls are compactly arranged to form a cone or strobili. The sporangiums are basically two types. In this, one of the sporangium is called microsporangium and another one is called megasporangia. Inside this sporangia, the haploid spores are produced with the help of meiosis division. These haploid spores are germinated to form endosporic gametophyte. The male gametophyte can produce male gametes and female gametophyte can produce its female gametes. Water is necessary to carry out the process of fertilization. At this time, the flagellated anthrozoids swim in the water to reach egg cell through neck of archegonium. The nucleus of anthrozoid fuse with egg cell nucleus to form a diploid zygote. The gametophytic generation ends and the initial stage of sporophytic generation is formed during its life cycle. The sporophytic and gametophytic generations are alternate with each other, although the sporophytic phase is dominant phase over gametophytic phase. The third example, Lycopodium. The spore-bearing bodies known as strobili. These strobili are appeared with a club-shaped growths at the tip of the mass like branches, so that Lycopodium is called club mass. The sporophytic plant body, it consists of a slender scraping rhizome which give rise to aerial branches with a numerous small leaves, and it is dichotomously branched roots. In this plant body, the stem is delicate, slender and dichotomously branched. Lycopodium, it reproduces asexually with the help of minute spores. The strobiles or cones is the spore-bearing structures in plant body. In these strobilus, the diploid spore mother cells undergoes meiosis division for the formation of haploid spores. These spores are germinated to form a gametophytic structure called prothallus. This prothallus is monoecious in nature, contains both antheridium and archegonium. The antheridium, it produces a sperm cell or male gamete. It is multiflagellated in structure. The archegonium can produce egg cell. In these members, the fertilization takes place with the help of oogamous method, and this zygote it can divide to form embryonic sporophytic later from matured plant body. It is diploid Lycopodium sporophyte. The next example, Equisetum. Equisetum is a genus of ferns commonly called as horsetails because of its appearance. The plant body of these members is sporophytic in nature and sporophytic plant body is well-branched perennial herb. The stem of Equisetum having two parts, one is perennial underground, it is a much branched rhizome, and an aerial erect stem is present in its plant body. Roots which develops from the lower node of the rhizome are long, slender with well-branched adventitious. The vegetative reproduction, it is takes place by fragmentation of rhizome. Sometimes tubers are formed on the surface of rhizome. During asexual reproduction, spores are formed inside sporangium and many sporangiums becomes into a cone-like structure. It is called strobili. In sporangium, spore mother cells, it undergoes meiosis division to form haploid spores. These haploid spores can produce its gametophyte. This gametophyte, it contains antheridium and archegonium. Archegonium can produce egg cell. Antheridium can produce male gamete. These are haploid in nature. Both male and female gametes are fused to form a diploid zygote. This zygote finally it becomes into a sporophytic plant body. The next example, Dryopteris. So wood ferns are also called shield ferns. These are typically found in cool, moist woodland areas, although some can tolerate drier condition. The sporophytic plant body is a dominant which is well differentiated into root, stem and leaf. Especially the roots are adventitious. These are developed from the basal side of the rhizome. Rhizome is a underground, thick, fleshy, branched or unbranched structure. In Dryopteris, the reproduction takes place by three methods. One is vegetative method, asexual method and sexual method. Vegetative reproduction, it is takes place by death or decay of older parts of rhizome up to branches. Dryopteris is homosporous in nature, can produce spores in sporangium and these are arranged in the form of sori on lower surface of leaf. Each spore, it will germinate to form a haploid gametophyte. It is called prothallus. The prothallus having antheridium and archegonium to perform sexual reproduction by the fusion of male and female gametes. Finally, the diploid zygote can produce a matured sporophyte of Dryopteris. The next example, Pteris. The plants are usually grown in well-drained places or in series of rocks. They are very common along the slope of hill areas. The plant body having rhizomatous stem that can produce roots and leaves. The rhizome is covered with scaly leaves and roots are arranged at the base of the leaf or all over the rhizome structure. The growing part of the rhizome is covered with ramenta. The leaves are unipinnately compound, decompound or multi-pinnately compound leaves. The young leaves of these pteris, it shows a coiling like watch spring that is called circinate venation. It is a typical true fern character. The leaves bears the reproductive structures called sorus at the ventral margin of pinnately compound leaf. The sorus is called Cenosorus as it is continuous on one other. This Cenosorus, it is borne on margin connecting veins and it is protected by a reflex margin is called false indusium. The development of this sporangium takes place with the help of leptosporangiate method. The spore mother cells divide meiotically and produce haploid spores. All these spores are same type. The spores can produces a prothallus and it is monoecious because of antheridium present at rhizoids. Archegoniums are present at apical notch. The antheridium can produces flagellated male gametes and archegonium can produce non-motile egg cell. Both are fused to form diploid zygote inside the archegonium. Finally, the zygote can produce a sporophytic plant body of Pteris. The last example, Adiantum. Adiantum quadratum or the Mediterranean hair fan, it is known as walking fan. This is because it is a new plantlets grow wherever the arcing leaves of the parental body touches and on ground and it creates a walking effect so that adiantum is called walking fan. The sporophytic plant body it consists of an underground rhizome form which produces leaves and roots. The stem of adiantum is underground. It is called rhizome. The leaves of adiantum are called frond. These leaves are bipinnately compound leaf. The roots are produced from underside or lower side of rhizome. These are adventitious roots. Some of the fertile leaves they can produce sore on underside or lower side. The sore are group of sporangium. These sore are covered with a flap of tissue. It is called false indusium. Inside the sporangium, the spore mother cells can produce haploid spores with the help of meiosis division. After falling on suitable places, every spore can germinate during suitable condition. At this time, the exine of spore it will break down and intine is elongated in the form of a tube-like structure. The apical portion of the tube it gives rise to a new generation of adiantum. It is called gametophytic generation. This gametophytic structure of adiantum is heart-like shape. The rhizoids are produced from underside or lower side of this prothallus. It is helpful for anchorage and absorption of water and minerals. Two kinds of organs like antheridium and archegonium are produced on gametophyte. The archegonium is a flask-shaped structure with egg cell. Antheridium, it is a globous structure, it having motile anthrozoids. The anthrozoids fertilizes with egg cell inside the archegonium. It results in the formation of a diploid zygote. Economic importance of pteridophytes. Fens are fantastic for removing common airborne pollutants. It includes formaldehyde, xylene, and toluene, which have been thought to cause headache, trouble in breathing, and growth of cancerous cells. They have been subjected for research for their ability to remove some chemical pollutant from atmosphere. One of the fern plant, it is called azolla, can capture CO2 and nitrogen from air and has genes that provide insect resistance. Ferns are not of major economic importance, but some of the ferns are used as a food, medicine, as a biofertilizer, and some of the members are used as a ornamental plants and for remediating contaminated soil. The first use is food. Pteridophytes constitute a good source of food to animals, especially Sporocarps of Marsilea, a water fen. It yields starch that is cooked and eaten by certain tribal peoples. Soil binding. By their growth of pteridophytes, it binds to soil even on long hill slopes. It can useful to prevent soil erosion. Third economic importance is soaring. The Equisetum stems have been used in soaring, especially cleaning of a utensil and polishing of metals. Along with that, Equisetum species are therefore called soaring rushes. The fourth economic importance is nitrogen fixation. It is very most important thing. Azula, it is a water fen, and this water fen, it is symbiotically associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. It is called Anabina azulae. It is inoculated to body field to function as a biofertilizer. The medicinal use of pteridophytes. An anthelmintic drug is obtained from the rhizome of Dryopteris. It is called a male sheet fan. Lycopodium is prescribed by hemopaths for both acute and chronic ailments such as arthritis, sore throat, digestive disorders, urinary tract difficulties, hepatitis, prostatitis, and eye condition. The remedy acts on soft tissue, blood vessels, bones, joints, and liver and heart. Ornamental plants. Some of the fen plants are grown as a ornamental plants for their delicate and graceful leaves. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe my channel, share my videos to your students and friends.